Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. If you're new, welcome. Thank you for being here. My name is Liz. I'm a registered nurse, and this is what's new in the world of nursing for me. Well, in this video, I guess it's for you guys. I wanted to make this video for all of the new nurses, new grad nurses, people that are starting in the hospital system, even starting in a new field or a new unit. I feel like these are some really beneficial tips that I wish I would have looked into or maybe been more mindful of when I first started nursing. So I have gathered 10 tips, well, with a bonus tip. I have 11, we'll call it a bonus tip, but I've gathered 10 essential things that you guys wanna be mindful of when starting a new job or being on a new unit in the hospital. These are important, and these can help make your day a little bit better, go a little bit more smoother, and help you prevent some bad things from happening, okay? So the first thing that I have here is to dress comfortably and be prepared. I'm pairing those two together because they kind of go hand in hand. Dress comfortably. I know we all see all these cute nurses in their Instagram pictures and on Pinterest with their cute little tight scrubs and their hair is popping, their headband is popping, everything's super cute. You want to be comfortable. I like these headbands that I wear. I found these on Etsy. I can link the two shops below. Like there's an Instagram shop and an Etsy shop that I love buying headbands for because they're stretchy, and they now they have the little button for your mask if you have to wear a face mask. So I'll link those below. But I have worn headbands that were cute but gave me a headache. Glasses that don't have blue blocking, just things like that. You want to be really mindful and prepared of your comfortability while at work. So from head to toe, if you're wearing a headband to keep your hair back, that's super convenient, but at the same time, make sure it doesn't give you a headache. Like wear it for a day beforehand before you go to the hospital, so you're not with your hair in your face. If you're somebody who likes to wear their hair down, if your hair is really long, put it up, obviously, because you might get down into some dirty-ish, and you don't want your hair touching some nasty stuff. It legit happened to me, and I wanted to dye/shave my head. I highly recommend blue blocking lenses. I wear prescription contacts and glasses daily. I can't see without them. I think I'm kind of legally blind, legit. So I have prescription glasses with blue blocking lenses, and I have ones without. Sitting in front of the computer, you won't realize it until later how much you're straining, how much pressure it puts on your eyes, and it can cause headaches, migraines, all of that stuff. So you really want to avoid that. So I highly recommend some blue blocking lenses. I will link those down below as well because they're super cute and they're affordable. They're from Amazon. They come in a 2-pack, and I always get compliments on them. Mine actually broke, so I have to order new ones. But I always get compliments on those glasses. People love them, so because the frame is just really cute. So I will link those down below as well. Next, aside from your scrubs or whatever being within the dress code of your hospital or unit policy, make sure they're comfortable. Make sure you're wearing compression socks, because you don't want your legs to have varicose veins when you're 5 years into your nursing career. You want to make sure you have good circulation. You're on your feet all day, right? So compression socks, really good sneakers. I wear Adidas Cloud Foam sneakers, and that's what they're called. They're like running shoes, and I love those. But I recommend lightweight running shoes. They tend to be the most comfortable in my opinion. I see people wearing Converse to work, and I'm like, how? How? Those are so flat and so uncomfortable, but by all means. Get yourself a pair of comfortable sneakers, or what are those things called? Clogs? I hate those, and they're hideous, but apparently they're super comfortable, so get you some of those. Pens, a little notepad if you need it, your stethoscope, things like that will help you. Shears, hemostat, surgical tape. First thing I do, I mean, it's probably not recommended or JACO compatible, I guess, I don't know, but I always, when I get on shift, I take a roll of tape and I put it in the little loop of my stethoscope, and I always have tape on me because I need tape in the most inconvenient situations. I'm like, shit, I need a piece of tape. And then I'm yelling out the door for a tech or somebody to pass me some tape. So I always keep tape on my stethoscope. I always keep 2 or 3 pens in my pocket. I always keep sticky notes in case I need to jot something down. Some people will write on their glove, but I'm really weird about taking gloves from one room to another room. It's a no-no. So I have a sticky note just to have important information written down. I can't remember anything, and I need to remember things, so I use that as a little reminder, and sticky notes in my pocket to chart later when I get a chance to sit down. So yeah, being comfortable, excuse me, and being prepared with all the tools and pens and paper and all of those things that you would need. Also mental preparation. I pray before every shift. I manifest good things and kind of just, give myself a little pep talk before every shift. And yeah, I kind of just prepare for the shift and I tell myself it's gonna be a good day. And usually it is. I mean, I feel like if you go to work dreading the day, you're already starting off on this like negative vibe and negative mindset, and that can really affect your mood. Because then everything's going to be downhill from there. Like, oh my God, I have 5 patients, and oh my God, I have, you know, somebody that needs total care, and it's just going to be like this tripling effect, or rippling effect. So have a positive mindset that comes along with preparation. Number 2, time management. Time management is everything, whether you have 1 patient or you have 6. Learning time management not only shows that you have your stuff together, it shows management that you have your stuff together. It shows your patients that you have your stuff together. You look more competent. You're less stressed, and it kind of ensures that you get everything taken care of for the most part throughout the day. Time management to me is not only having your meds on time, your assessment on time, you're not leaving super late because you're stuck charting, you're a happy camper. It's also like self-care in a way. Like, make sure you're carving out time to eat your lunch, make sure you're drinking your water, make sure you're going to pee. Like, all of these things are super important to balance throughout the day. I know when I first started off, I would go like all day until like 5-6:30 and like without eating. It's super unhealthy. So make sure you have time management. Granted, every day is not going to be like that. Like, I certainly still have days where it's like 4 o'clock and I'm like, I haven't had water, like I need something. So that happens, but for the most part, making sure that you are keeping yourself on some sort of a routine and a schedule while you're at work will really, really help you, and it'll benefit you in the long run. I know nurses that have gotten kind of like, actually reprimanded or written up for like too much overtime for staying late at work because they were stuck charting. Like, it's almost unfair. It's like a catch-22, but it's like you're getting overtime, but you're getting in trouble for it. But making sure that you have that time management down, and that does take time to acquire. It's a skill set, in my opinion, and it's an important one at that. So make sure you learn that, you know, pick that up from your preceptor or whatever. Or for me, I would literally make like a schedule. I would write down from 8 to 9, 9 to 10, 10 to 11 on what I'm gonna do, who's getting their meds, what time am I gonna go to lunch, hopefully as long as my patients are stable. So you know, having that time management there, and learning to ask for help from your other nurses. My previous unit, we would have like a buddy, like every day you're assigned a buddy. So that's your first like go-to person if you need help. But in other scenarios, I know not all units are like that, but find somebody that you can rely on, and don't be afraid to ask for help from that person if you need it, because that will help with your time management. You can't be 2 places at once, and you only have 2 hands. So if you are doing one thing and you're like, crap, I need to give that med now, ask your coworker to give that med or to take over what you're doing, or a PCT, utilizing the PCTs and the techs that are there to help you. I know for me, coming from ICU, like we didn't have a tech in my NICU, so I have techs now, and I'm like almost like shy to ask her. I'm like, hey, do you mind? I'm so sorry to ask you, but like it's their job. So just as it's my job to ask for help, or to, you know, for things that I can't complete. So I've learned to ask for help from the PCT. I don't like to ask for help in general. I'm like not that kind of person, but I've had to learn through nursing. So yeah, time management, major key. This third piece of advice might be hard for some people, especially if you're like a timid person or a person that doesn't do well with confrontation. But it's basically don't take shit from anybody. That includes management. I have experienced managers that kind of, and I'm trying to just kind of like, you know, tread lightly here, but experienced managers that, you know, I have a meeting with them because I'm being reprimanded for something that I shouldn't be reprimanded for. And I leave that meeting like, wow, this person's just trying to instill fear in me. This person was just trying to prove that they are an authoritative figure. Like, this person was not giving me, you know, constructive criticism as much as they were just criticizing me. Like, there's a huge difference. So when I say don't take shit from anyone, I mean speak up for yourself. Don't be afraid to speak up for yourself respectfully, and when it's appropriate, I'll say that. That doesn't mean go to work wilding out, acting out, you know, with a you can't tell me anything mentality. That's not what that means. That just means know you're right. Like, I am not afraid to speak up when I think something is wrong, when I think someone is wrong, especially if it's like, you know, attacking me or being geared toward me. The same thing goes for patients. I spoke about that in my last video. Like some patients will try it. Especially if you're female, especially if you're tiny, if you look like you were easily intimidated, even if you are, don't give that impression off. People can sense weakness, you know, and you have to be in nursing. It's such a toxic environment overall. You want to be somebody that's strong and that can handle it, because it'll break you. It really will break you. So just learning to like have thicker skin, learning to stand up for yourself, I think, and be more confident is something that I want to see in more nurses, especially like new grad nurses, where it's so easy, so easy to let people walk all over you. The whole nurses eat their young thing is a very real problem. And I ended up having a lot of people who didn't like me, quote unquote, because I was not the young to be eaten, if you will. I just never I never tolerated that. So I didn't make friends with all those cliquey people. That's another thing about the cliques. Like, be aware of the cliques. Some units are very, very cliquey, and it's like what I like to call it, the mean girls thing. Like, you can't sit with us mentality. It's just so ridiculous and so high school to me, but that's what it felt like sometimes in my other unit. There was like a ton of nurses. We had like 100 nurses that worked there, and some of them were like that. They, you know, thought they were better than you because they had more experience, or, well, really, yeah, because they had more experience, and simply because I was new. So you know, you might have less friends, but you know what, that points out the real ones from the fake ones, in my opinion, and it ensures that you are not the one to be walked all over. So just understand your worth, understand that you have the same license as they do, regardless of their experience. And if they're not willing to be a teacher to you and a mentor to you, find somebody else that is. That goes to the preceptor. You should not be going home feeling stressed to the point where, or stressed from your preceptor, rather. You should not be being spoken down to. You should not be going home crying. You know, all of these things. If you feel like you are not clicking with your preceptor because it's a respect issue, talk to your manager. If you feel like your manager is disrespecting you, go to a different unit. Like, it's that real. Otherwise, you're gonna hate your job, and you don't want to be in nursing to hate your job. Nursing is such a beautiful field, but it can be really ugly at the same time. So stand up for yourself. Number 4, learn as much as you can. Ask as many questions as you need to, even if they sound like they're a stupid question. Ask questions. I can't tell you how many times I'm like, oh my God, this is gonna sound so stupid coming out of my mouth. And I ask that question and I'm like, oh, I'm so glad you asked, or good question, or whatever, you know what I mean? Or it might be a dumb question like, hey, you should know this by now, whatever. It's better to ask questions than to potentially hurt a patient or yourself. This is your license on the line that you worked very, very, very hard for, right? It's not just your license. Like, we're talking criminal stuff that can happen, like criminal charges that can be put against us, aside from having our license taken away. So if it's something regarding patient safety, medication, anything, ask a question. When I started this new job, I gave my preceptors a heads up. I said, I'm so sorry if this comes off as annoying, but I ask a lot of questions. And most time they're like, no, we want you to ask questions because we would rather you ask me than to potentially make a really dangerous mistake. So ask away. Also, research. Like, go home and research things. Like, I would literally jot things down like, oh, I don't remember this med. Okay, you can Google it really quickly. Okay, this med is for blood pressure, whatever. Is it safe to give? Okay, I can see it's safe to give. But then I'll go home and further research it so that it's kind of like stuck in my noggin. Coming into this job, I'm exposed to a lot of new medications that I haven't seen since like nursing school, because in the NICU, we don't give a lot of those grown-up meds, you know what I mean? So having to learn new medications, disease processes, what you can do, what's contraindicated, like, a lot of that was like nursing school, you know, kind of I had to like dig it out of my archived files in my brain to put it into play and to make sure that everything is safe and indicated for each patient. So asking questions, learning as much as you can, those things are very, very important as a new grad, as a new person to a new unit, for that matter. Alongside that, I guess this is number 5, check your meds. Cannot say that enough. Check your meds, check your dosing, check your patient, the 5 rights, the 6 rights, really. Check your meds. We get so used to giving the same meds every single day it's very easy to be like, oh, Lasix 40 milligrams, let's go. IV push, let's go. Oh, freaking morphine 2 milligrams, let's go. Like, check your meds. I've always been super careful with med check. Like, I will check them 3 times. 4 times if I need to, and then again at the bedside. Like, check your meds. And then, oh, like, I can't tell you how many medication errors I have caught. Like, I don't mean to scare anybody, but yeah, like, and from anything from major to minor, I'm like, oh, why is that? Or like simple things. I'm like, okay, this is a patient that's here for an exacerbation of heart failure, right? Why are there fluids ordered? Like, and then I'll call the doctor and say, hey, you ordered fluids. Oh, oops. No, don't give them fluids. Like, yeah, like, you have to question everything sometimes just to make sure you don't give the wrong med. Sometimes it can be just like, oh, no big deal, but sometimes they can kill a patient. I don't know if you guys are aware of the new situation that's happening with that nurse. What's her name? Redonda, I think that's her first name. Who is now facing criminal charges. Her license was taken away. She will never work as a nurse again, let alone in healthcare again, you know, and she gave Vec instead of Versed. How? I don't know. Like, we're still, people are still trying to figure out how that happened. Vecuronium, which is a paralytic, versus Versed, which is sedation. You know, the bottle, one, like, I don't know. In my mind, I'm like, how? But I don't know. You know, one has to be reconstituted, one doesn't. The vials look very different. One has like a big red label on it. Like, how it was even stocked, how did she pull it? Like, there's so many questions. Like, I know she worked in the neuro ICU, and I would imagine that they probably have Vec in their Pyxis or Omnicell or whatever. But she gave Vec instead of Versed, and it resulted in a patient death. And now this young woman's life is ruined. I think she had been a nurse for like 3 years or something like that. I think, if I'm not mistaken, correct me if I'm wrong, I don't know. But in any case, 3 years, 1 year, 30 years, making a mistake like that is devastating, not only to you, to this patient, to their family. Now you're stuck going to jail. Like, going to jail. Does she belong in jail? Hell no. She's not a danger to society. Those people belong in jail. You know what I mean? Like, for her to potentially have to go to jail for a simple human error, you know, the system doesn't care. It's gonna fall back on the nurses. Think about how much system error has to happen for her to give this medication, even if it was prescribed incorrectly. We're talking about the physician, the pharmacy tech who stocked the meds. Like, if it was stocked incorrectly, you know, the computer system for not giving her warnings, apparently. She says that she didn't get any warnings when she scanned it or what have you. You know, she gave 10 milligrams instead of giving 2 of Versed. So there's a lot of issues that can happen, and it's just, it ends in a devastating result. Again, like I said, she's not only, her life is over. Like, my life would be over if I had to get my license taken away, let alone go to prison. So it's just really scary and a very, very real issue. And again, the system does not care about you making a human error. If you make a medication error that results in a patient death, you are screwed. You are royally screwed. So just be mindful of that. Check your meds 3, 4, 5, 6 times if you have to before administering it to your patient. Okay, so advice, tip, whatever, number 6. This might sound a little like weird. I don't know, but if you can avoid those 2-year contracts, girl, avoid them, okay? It puts you in a position where you are stuck, whether you like it or not. I signed a 2-year contract as a new grad. Honestly, I was so desperate for that job that I would have signed it. If it said 10 years, I would have signed it. And after 6 months, I wanted to switch to another hospital system. Everybody goes through that. You're just like, what the F? Like, now I'm stuck in this contract. I'm stuck on this unit with these managers who don't like me and these nurses who don't like me, or this unit that I don't like, you know, and if I leave, I had to pay back like $5,000. Like, if you can avoid it, avoid it. If you can't, still sign it. Just be mindful and be careful and read your contract and be sure that this is a unit / hospital system that you want to be a part of. Because once you're in, you can't get out. You can't get out without paying a fee or death or dying. Like, those are only 2 ways out. So yeah, guys, make sure that you can tolerate that hospital system and that unit and that manager and everything before signing that 2-year contract. Because let me tell you, girl. Verse 7, this might sound really simple, but don't get written up, don't get in trouble, and impress your manager. Point blank period. If you have to kiss butt a little bit, do it, okay? To your manager, because, and that's just, hi so-and-so, how are you today? Oh, your outfit looks great, like something, I don't know, make them like you, okay? Because that is your ticket out of that unit, okay? If you're trying to leave that unit, mama, you want to make sure your manager's like you didn't get in trouble, you stood out, you were a good nurse, you were on time, you weren't late, like all of these things, so that you, number one, can excel. If you love your unit, that you can move your way up, you can go up that clinical ladder. And if you're not satisfied with your unit, that you can get the hell out of there and go to a unit that you like. Because who has to sign off on you to leave if you're staying in your hospital system? Your manager. Your future manager is going to want to know, how did you perform in your last job? They're going to want to know your manager's name and phone number and email address. They're going to want to know. So don't get in trouble, don't get written up, stay on time, stay in conduct, or stay within the code of conduct, and ask your questions so you don't make mistakes, because if you want to get out or excel or whatever, you want to make a good impression. That's really what it is. Make a good impression. For 8, are we on number 8? I don't even know, but stay on top of your continuing education credits, okay? These are very, very important, and you cannot work if your credits are not up to par or up to date, okay? Usually your hospital's like kind of on top of it because you need to be on top of them in order to practice, and they need you working, so they will give them to you for free or tell you when they're due and that kind of thing. I have CE broker, so they tell me when my credits are low or if I'm missing something, and it's like $40 a year, and they send you reminders and stuff. So get one of those little apps or whatever that will stay on track of it for you, because who really thinks about that, and who knows when their freaking HIV or HIPAA thing is due? Like, I don't. Oh, this is a good tip. So take advantage of your hospital benefits. If you are full-time or full-time, take advantage of your hospital benefits. If you are a full-time or a part-time employee, probably per diem, I don't know, but there's some dope benefits that like you can get. So aside from them, let me give you, for example, on mine, aside from like health benefits or whatever, I live in the Orlando area, right? I get discounts to the parks. I get discounts pretty much everywhere nowadays because I'm a nurse. I bring my badge everywhere. Lowe's, I get a nursing discount. Like buying a car, you get a nursing discount. Like first responder discounts, especially because of COVID, are hot right now. They're kind of in line with those military discounts that people are giving out. So definitely everywhere I go, I ask, hey, do you guys do a first responder discount? 8 times out of 10, they do. So I say, oh, here's my badge, thank you. So yeah, I also have the benefit where my hospital is paying back $100 a month for me toward my student loan. It's not much, but it's something, So when you sign up for your benefits, aside from like, your medical, your dental, your vision, check out what else they have to offer. They offer services for child adoption, child care, pet adoption, pet insurance, car insurance discounts. The list goes on and on. So definitely look into that and take advantage of your benefits. My last bit of advice, I think this is number, I don't even know, girl, or boy. Let's see, I had 1, 2, 3, I'm done counting, but this is what I have last on my list, is to give yourself grace, okay? Give yourself grace, give yourself 2 years, thug it out. When I say that, it doesn't look that good if you leave a job within 3-6 months. A lot of units, especially if you're in a specialty and you love that specialty, but you don't love your unit and you're like, oh, I want to go to another hospital or whatever, they're going to want 2 years experience in that field, or at least a year they're going to prefer in that field. It's going to be a lot harder to get that job if they say, why did she leave in 3 months? Oh, and then she worked here for a month, and then she worked here for 5 months. Like, try to thug it out, get your 2 years experience, especially if you're a new grad. Get your experience, not only to further your career when you're ready to do that, but you need that. It takes that much time to like just start feeling comfortable on a unit by yourself. You're gonna learn new things absolutely every single day, for sure, hands down, but give yourself those 2 years, tolerate it if you can, and learn as much as you can learn. That way you can take those set of skills, apply them to your next job, and say, hey, I know what I'm doing. Not only do I know what I'm doing and I feel confident and competent, I have 2 years of experience to back it up, On top of that, and your manager likes you, and you were able to ask for help, and you had time management down, and you had all those skills and all of these benefits to help you as a nurse. These are really, really beneficial. So take all these things that I said, don't take them with a grain of salt, and apply them into your nursing practice when you become a new nurse or you start working in the field for the first time. And you'll thank yourself, because I don't know, you might not really consider these things, like remembering to eat, packing nutritious foods, wearing comfortable shoes, making friends on the unit and not afraid to ask for help, these things will definitely aid you in your 12-hour shifts, okay? So that's it, guys. Those are my words of advice to you. I wish you the very best of luck if you are starting a new job. I mean, if you're already working in a new job, like I'm returning to work after maternity leave, and I'm glad I reminded myself of these things because they're important, and they, you know, like I said, they benefit us as nurses, they're healthy for us, and they help excel us in our career, okay? So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Again, please leave me some requests, video requests of what you guys might want to see. I know I said that I had a day in the life going up. I haven't finished editing that video yet, so this one's probably going up first. But nonetheless, I thank you guys for being here, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye, guys.